the Bama 2026 schedule. So obviously last week I talked about Georgia and Ohio State. I'm going to talk about Bama's schedule here in a second. I'm also going to talk about Oregon's after that. Obviously, we brought up 9-game SEC schedules now, so everybody's SEC schedule or every SEC team schedule gets a little bit tougher. And then Alabama has to play Florida State. We're going to talk about that. So they've got 10 Power 4 teams they got to play. Let's go ahead and pull up the schedule here now. All right, week 1. They got East Carolina. Everyone's got to get their games in. This is an American Athletic Conference as East Carolina's in. Everybody's moving conferences, so you never know nowadays. But they are in the American. They'll probably win that game. If they don't, things could go wrong. All right, at Kentucky in week 2. Fun stat for you guys. Bama is 39-2-1 all time against Kentucky. Kentucky's last win against Alabama was in 1997. That's pretty crazy. They played 2023 was the last time they played. Kentucky's got a new head coach, Will Stein, coming from Oregon, and then they got Kenny Minchey, the quarterback from Notre Dame that was going to Nebraska and is now going to Kentucky. Big test for Kentucky. If they can prove something here, you never know. I have a hard time believing Alabama could lose this game, but a lot of people are not high on Alabama going into this upcoming season. So we'll see where that is, but they're going to Lexington in week 2. Week 3, Florida State. At home this time, so they're playing them in Tuscaloosa. Obviously got the revenge factor, right? That last year was a super embarrassing game in week 1. Like I mentioned with Texas and Ohio State last week, their game's in week 2. This game's in week 3. So they're going to play an SEC team before this. They're going to play Kentucky. They're going to have a good gist of what their team is at this point. And I think that's really good for them. Instead of playing this game in week 1, you kind of know what you've got at least a little bit. You kind of know what your quarterback likes. You know what kind of tendencies your team has. I think that's good in the long run if you're going to play these out-of-conference games. Playing in week 2 and week 3 might be a really smart play. That's all. That's what I'm really trying to get at. So, but if Bama loses this game, oh my God, could you imagine a turmoil if Alabama went out and lost to Florida State for the second year in a row, and then Florida State turns around and has another 5-7, 4-8 season? If Florida State fans get to walk around, with a flag that says "We own Alabama," could you imagine that? It would be the seat would get very hot for Kalen DeBoer. Week 4, they got South Carolina. 3rd year in a row they're playing this game against South Carolina. They obviously won the last 2 in close fashion. Both of them are very close games. South Carolina, they've got Lenore Sellers. The offensive line was really bad last year. We'll see how that is going to be. They've got guys like Dylan Stewart on the defense, but that game's at home early in the season. I'm not sure. South Carolina's a team that I'll talk about eventually, but I don't really see them. I can't tell them, honestly. I don't want to give an opinion on them yet. Week 5 at Mississippi State. First time since the SEC West days, these two teams are going to match up. Mississippi State has not beat Alabama since 2007. Interesting stat there. Mississippi State, last year they only won one SEC game. I feel like if Alabama is going to need an easy one, because the next little stretch they got after this is going to get tough. This is probably where they need to have a win before they go into this tough stretch. Sip of water? All right. Week 6, Georgia. They got UGA at home. Probably a night game. I talked about this last week when I previewed the Georgia schedule. Will they be 5-0? Is Alabama going to be 5-0 at this game? Yes or no? They've got East Carolina, Kentucky, Florida State, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and then they got Georgia. Is Alabama 5-0 when they play Georgia? That's a question that I don't know. I don't know if they are 5-0. A lot of people are low on Alabama. Their schedule's not that tough through the first 5 games. But are they 5-0? Are they 4-1? It's going to be different. Are their backs against the wall, or are they at the potential of having 2 losses if they lose to Georgia, or are they potential of being 6-0 if they lose to Georgia, or are they the potential of being 6-0 after they will beat Georgia and then before they go into this tough stretch? That's a big question. So that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, they had the success over Georgia. Georgia's got the last one, so we'll see. Week 7, they go to Tennessee. They've lost the last 2 games in Neyland Stadium. Lost in 2024, and obviously lost in 2022, the big field goal post in the River game. So is that just something maybe Tennessee gets to say now? When they come to Neyland, is it the new when they come to Jordan Hare, we got them? Does Tennessee get to say that? because Alabama, they play UGA the week before this. That's obviously going to be a big emotional game for them. And then they got to go to Tennessee, which is obviously a rivalry they play every single year. Like 2 big emotional games back to back for Alabama, and then they have to win. And the second one, they have to go on the road. So that's going to be a big test that I'm interested to see. Then they play A&M at home. First time since the SEC West days, they're going to play them. So I haven't played since 2023. And like I said, look at this. Week 6, Week 7, Week 8, October. October is a crazy month there for Alabama. Georgia, Tennessee, A&M. Some people may not be that high on Tennessee. Who knows what they'll be. But you would assume Georgia and A&M are probably going to be top 10, 15 teams at worst. So at the least, they've got 2 out of 3 really tough games, and another one maybe that's not so tough, but they got to go on the road in a rivalry game. So A&M, we'll talk about them at some point. They've got a really good squad coming off a playoff appearance last year. What is Alabama's record going to be through those 3 games? Okay, then they get a bye week in Week 9. And then Week 10, they go to LSU. So thank God they have a bye in there because they have it stretched right there. Georgia, Tennessee, A&M, bye at LSU. LSU obviously has Lane Kiffin now. Lane Kiffin is 0-5 all time against Alabama. And that counts a game he was with the coach at Tennessee, and then the 4 game times he played him when he was at Ole Miss. So Bama's got that edge over him, right? But Lane Kiffin's obviously going to want to win this game. LSU, this is 100% going to be a night game, right? In Death Valley at LSU. Scary. Good thing they got a big bye week before this. I would assume LSU maybe has a bye week before this too. It seems like this may be their, like Georgia and all Florida always have a bye week before they play each other. Might be the same thing here for Alabama and LSU. And then Week 11, they go to Vanderbilt. 3rd year in a row they're playing this game. How will they be after this stretch? This is the question, right? They have that whole stretch they're going through at Georgia, at Tennessee, A&M, bye at LSU. Then they got to go back on the road to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt obviously has their big win back out in Vandy in 2024. A whole new team. Diego Pavia is not there, but you would assume the 45,000-foot stadium is going to be absolutely rocking in Nashville, Tennessee in this game. And this is late after a long stretch. How's the health going to be at this point for Alabama? Interesting spot. And then Chattanooga in Week 12. And then Week 13, they've got Auburn. They got Auburn at home. Fun stat for you guys again. They have not lost to Auburn at home since Cam Newton was the quarterback at Auburn. So they have not lost to Alabama and Tuscaloosa in a long, long time. I've said I'm higher on Auburn before. So we'll see how that is, but it's the Iron Bowl. Anything can happen in a rivalry game.